With the semi-modular 4-tile project fully painted, it is time to show the end results. The project took 10 days to complete from planning to finished playable gaming board. In this episode we'll take a look at the pros and cons with having Modular Zone Mortalis tiles versus the glued down tiles as I personally own. Furthermore, in this episode we'll talk about new things learned while working with this project, and of course there will be some more setups, and yes, there's over 1 billion options according to Mr. Edwin Frontpart, who stands by his claim. Hello and welcome to Rapid Tabletop. My name is Leonard, but you can call me Leo. So Mr. Edwin, he claims that there's over 1 billion setups with these 3 to 4 tiles that we have here that are semi-modular? Yeah, something like that. So I'm not 100% sure about that, but I am pretty sure that you will have many games to play on and different setups for many years to come. And of course, if you do like the content here, please do consider subscribing, leaving a like, and if you want to support the channel even more, please do consider becoming a Patreon. As a patron, you decide what kind of videos I'll be doing every month. And right now there's an ongoing vote for March videos that I'll be making. But let's head on into this episode's topic. So let's start off with some advantages we have with a semi-modular terrain setup compared to my own, which are fully glued down with fully themed bases. So let's take a look at this clip right here. A big issue with glued down tiles is that they have a hard time fitting into cramped spaces. As you can see here, my own personal tiles have a hard time fitting, and I can only place one. Secondly, larger tiles like this one is not able to fit inside this cramped little space. On the other hand, we have these semi-modular or fully modular tiles, which can be, of course, sub-assembled. Taking down all the pieces, and once all the pieces are sorted out, you can store them nicely into a small space. One thing to note here, I didn't really plan this out. I was preparing 2 cupboards to fit all the terrain, but to my surprise, it actually fit into 1 cupboard. And another thing to consider is actually transporting the terrain to a friend's house or a local gaming club. If you have it semi-modular or fully modular, it's very easy to transport it in a box. The way I'm doing it, it's really hard. It requires to have your own vehicle of transportation and some good friends to help you unload and load the terrain into the car and out of the car. And another advantage is, of course, that you can change the theme of the tile quite easily. Though it's a little bit light on the theme because you cannot really go all out on the themes that you might want. If you compare it to my own tiles here that is fully glued down, you can make a very heavy focus on themes. And of course, when you decide to expand your tiles with further tiles, it is very easy to do it with semi or fully modular setups. Just buy one kit and you can just add them into your existing build. And here's a few examples that I would recommend getting if you would expand. But surely there has to be some negatives. Well, of course, with everything there's positives and negatives with everything that you do. And for me, the main disadvantage with having modular or semi-modular terrain setup is the stability. After all, we're just human. And humans are clumsy or get overly excited, such as when playing with dice. You will topple over terrain and it will create a chain effect of pieces falling over. And another thing is that you cannot really place details such as vents or similar objects like computer screens onto the walls or columns because you don't know if you're going to put a door or some object next to this wall. As you can see with this piece here, I cannot put any details on a column because I don't know where the door will be connected in the future. it could be connected to either side of the column. That's why you need to keep the column free on all sides. And lastly, I wouldn't really call it a negative, but rather a positive for the glue down versions that I use. With XPS foam underneath, you can create levels, creating toxic pits, a furnace pit, or whatever you want to call it, something that is really hot and dangerous. And you can add a lot of structure paint onto the tiles if you so want to. And of course you can also add elevated themes like this one here. So what did I learn from all of this? Well, I did learn how to use every single part of a kit, which is kind of hard for me because usually I only take one part from this box and another one here and mix and match back and forth. That leaves me with a lot of leftovers. And one part that I didn't use that much in the past was the columns. But being forced to use the columns this time around, I actually learned several things to use them for, as staircases and additional details that I didn't really think about before. And something that I learned here while doing this 4-tile project is that semi-modular setups has a lot of options. And there are certain wall setups combined with columns that actually adds a lot to the modularity. And that's something I want to explore in the future. This wall here, for example, had saved me so many times when doing different setups and creating new and interesting layouts. And several people have asked how many platforms I used for this project. I used a total of 20 tiles or platforms, and to get 20 platforms I had to cut this piece here of the tree platform setup here. This would give me a potential of 20 platforms to be used. As indicated here, I'm counting up to 20 platforms. The 2 that I cut off, I use one for the staircase and the second one for this extended wall section. And another thing that I made full use of was the railings and how to optimize it. Of course, I used this trick before, but I used it even more this time around. And that's using barricades to fill out where the railings doesn't fill out completely. Modular or glue down version of a gaming board. Well, that's really up to you guys, but I've shown here a couple of pros and cons why to use either system. For me, it would run down into storage space that you have available, and of course if you are invested into going into a lot of terrain or not. And that's it for this time around, so I'm just gonna play a video here with me assembling, and at the very end there will be some images of completed options that you can look at. So, and if you would like to see these options more in detail, head over to my Instagram or to my Patreon for a higher resolution of those images. So here comes some 80s music on request, so I will see you guys in the next one, alright?